A lot of people are so afraid to ask for help.
I see a lot of entrepreneurs when they get started and they have what I call an entrepreneur season where it's going crazy. They want to give up.
Well, now in this day and age, you have to have some type of content to grow your business.
Hey, how you doing today? I want to welcome you to the Content Aesthetic Show, where we have different med spa owners, different aesthetic professionals come on and share their stories so they can inspire you to keep making a difference. And on today's episode, we have Dr. Tamara Allen. How are you?
I'm doing great, Dante. How are you, King of Content?
I am blessed. Before we get started, I want to know, what do you do in your business to make a difference in the community?
Oh, share my experience to women and men about weight gain, especially women with menopause. That's kind of getting up in age and just struggling, with weight loss, struggling with just change. Life changes because, as you get older, your body changes and it's hard to get the weight off. So we really kind of talk to people about that.
I love it. What made you like, I want to help women, get comfortable with themselves, get the weight off? What made you go that route?
Well, for me, I had to have abdominal surgery. I was sick, and they put me on steroids, so I had gained a lot of weight. And then on top of that, it was my blood pressure was getting higher. I was getting sleep apnea. I had to sleep with a CPAP. I was becoming borderline diabetic, and I had fibromyalgia. So I was having all of these things going on. And then to have abdominal surgery, that was a lot. It was a lot. So I said I wanted to talk to other people that were dealing with the same issues that I was dealing with, and just say, hey, it's okay. We know that you're having some difficulties, but there's some alternatives to help you lose weight.
That's big. So you had to take control of your own health first.
Yes.
Now you want to help others take control of their health.
Yes, absolutely. 1000%. I mean, COVID really did a number on everybody. Yeah. So being at home, people got lazy. Yeah. And on top of that, if you already are not in the best health, and then adding to that, depression, anxiety, it'll do a number on you.
That's big. And I know for you, you love to share like your wins. Right now, you on your journey.
Yes, I'm definitely on a journey. And it's not going to always be wins. You're going to have some losses, but it's how you react to those losses. And just know that it's not permanent. It's just for that day. And just keep it moving and just know that you got another day to start all over again.
I want you to share your win right now.
My weight loss win?
Yeah.
It's exciting because I went from... a good size for me is 175, but I had ballooned all the way to 327 pounds. And that was playing a role on me. So currently I've lost 60 pounds. I'm still on a journey, but to lose 60 pounds, man, I'm not on a CPAP machine anymore. My blood pressure has become more regulated, and I'm definitely not borderline diabetic. So those are that's 4 major wins, to be quite honest. So I'm excited about that, and to be able to share with other people to say, hey, one step at a time, one step at a time.
And for you, were you always into entrepreneurship, or did you have to transition? What's that like for you?
Let's see here. I haven't had a job in 30 years. So I've always been an entrepreneur because my mother was that. Okay. So she kind of instilled that in us. And yes, being an entrepreneur can be ghetto at times in the terms of one of my buddies, but it's rewarding too because it allowed me to live free. But for those who are trying to get into entrepreneurship, don't get rid of your first job first until it has surpassed your income that you've currently made on your, double that amount that you've made on your job. I never recommend for anybody to quit their job while they're on their entrepreneur journey.
So I see a lot of entrepreneurs when they get started and they have what I call an entrepreneur season where it's going crazy. They want to give up. Over 30 years as an entrepreneur, what kept you going even when you was going through those seasons?
That's interesting because it's either I get out there and get it or I can't pay my bills. So for me, I just remember that having a job, can I say, be free to say? was like being on a plantation.
Yeah.
And not that I've experienced being on a plantation, but the fact, I think what it was is it was my oldest son who is about to turn 30. He was a child and I had him in daycare and I was working a job and he got sick at the daycare. And I said, I need to get my son. I need to go get my son. They said, you can't leave. I said, say what? I said, oh no. So that meant you had too much control over my life. And I was not down for that. And I said, I need to do something that's going to still make me income from home. And so I can be with my children. That was the number one thing. I wanted to be there for them and help raise them with my husband. And that was just that was non-negotiable for me. So the entrepreneurship, because it was already a part of what I grew up with, I said, yes, I'm going to step out on faith and start the entrepreneur journey.
And so once you stepped out on faith, how many different pivots you had to make? Like, and it might be a lot of pivots. It might be a pivot. But what happens is sometimes when people become entrepreneurs, they think that first thing is that last thing. And sometimes you have to take a pivot to grow.
Yeah, you have to be flexible. I think where the issue is, people think that everything is going to run smooth and that you're going to make a bunch of money overnight. And that's not the case. You have had to plant a bunch of seeds in place and understand you're planting the seed today to reap the harvest for tomorrow. So once you are consistent with what it is that you're doing, it may not come right now, but then all of a sudden, bam, it'll come. We just got featured. Like we weren't expecting that. So, but we planted those seeds and now we're seeing the fruits of the harvest. So you just can't give up, but just understand that you have to have a plan. You have to have SOPs in order, standard operating procedures. You know, you're going to have to do your goals. You have to revisit these things and you have to not put so much outlay. I think where the issue is, a lot of people put a lot of money out up front, but there's so much technology that you can use to kind of help you with your business that you can cut those costs. And I think that's what people really need to know. They need to know how they can cut costs. And some things you're going to have to be a solopreneur on. But then after you get to a certain level, then you have to have a team. That's the only way you're going to grow is when you have a team.
I love that. A lot of times people don't know how to delegate and they want to be a one-stop. They want to wear all the hats and then they want to have a gazillion dollars all at the same time.
Correct. And you're not.
It's not.
You're not.
You're going to drown. For you, how did content impact your business?
I think content, it's crazy because I wish I kind of had this kind of content back then, but content has definitely, I mean, we wouldn't have been able to be on, you know, some of the platforms that we've been able to get on if it wasn't for content. We have to post. It's funny because that's your social proof. You know, a lot of people don't think, oh, well, I don't have to do all that to get business. Well, now in this day and age, you have to have some type of content to grow your business or you're going to be stagnant. This is not the newspapers anymore where you can put an ad in a newspaper. This is not magazines, printed magazines. You can put it, no, the mailers don't really work. It creates awareness. You know, the grocery list receipts, okay, it just creates awareness, but content is king. Oh, that's right. That's your name. Okay. Content is king. And the more you do, the more consistent you are, the more your business will grow and the people will they'll start begging you to take them on as a client.
I love that. If you can highlight one of your superpowers, what would it be and why?
I'm a visionary, creativity. Those are my strong suits. Operations, I pass that on to my son. Marketing, I can market the heck out of something if I believe in it and I'm passionate about it. So those are my strong suits. But all the other stuff, I pass it on to my sons or my husband. They kind of handle that portion of it. I just want to be the visionary and get it out there.
I love that. What would you say to an aesthetic entrepreneur that's on the verge of giving up? What would you say to keep them going? Look into this camera.
That right there is kind of hard because I kid you not, every day I want to give up. But I'm just like, but why? If I give up, then that means I'll have to get a job. That's not up for discussion. I love my freedom and that's what you're going to get. And when you learn to delegate, and you have that freedom when your business is growing and you're able to see things. Entrepreneurship allowed me to travel the world. And I wouldn't have been able to necessarily do that freely if I had a job. And to be able to experience that with my family and to continue to keep helping people in this industry, that's major. When I am able to make a client smile because she lost weight, that is the most rewarding thing. And I think what people need to understand is not always about you. It's what you can do for other people. So when you become a servant of other people, you are going to be blessed. I got chills just thinking about it. You will be blessed because you have helped somebody else realize that they needed your service and they needed you, and that you are the golden nugget for them to change their life. I think that's what's important.
I love that. And I want you to keep making a difference every time I see you, every time I see your family. I just want y'all to keep making an impact. And we from Chicago.
That's right.
So, being from there, it's a different beast in us.
Yeah.
Right. We want it. You can't play around. Like, we want it. We're going to go all in. We're going to figure it out. And so I just want to commend you for figuring it out. I want to commend you for passing it down. I want to commend you for showing up. And even with Slimmy Shots, creating something to help others. You didn't have to do that, but you're doing that. So I just want to let you know.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you and I'm grateful for you.
I receive that because some people don't know how to receive. They don't know. Some people don't know how to take constructive criticism. Yeah. That's another thing I should have said. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are so afraid to ask for help. And it's like, you're not going to be able to do it all yourself. And then you end up spending and wasting money because you're trying to do it yourself instead of having a team or instead of having a mentor. Yeah. Mentorship is the most important thing. And that's what has helped us get farther. And I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing content wise if it wasn't for this person right here. So I got to turn it over back to you to say thank you for allowing. A lot of people have the personality, but they're afraid to get in front of the camera because they're concerned about how they look, or my clothes ain't right, or I don't have the money. And just being able to get this content out and just know that somebody can relate to you. I think that's where the issue is. People think they have to be perfect all the time, and they don't.
I love that. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show. And I want you to use this episode to know that you can keep going. You are on a journey. And by you being on a journey, keep going. Be patient with yourself. Be grateful for everything that you learn and everything that you experience. Just don't give up. I'm Dontel Antonio, and I want to thank you for tuning in.